The following program is underwritten by the Nevada Irrigation District. Since 1921, providing clean and healthy drinking and irrigation water to water. The following program is underwritten by the Nevada Irrigation District. Since 1921, providing clean and healthy drinking and irrigation water to more than 24,000 homes, farms, schools, and businesses in Nevada and Placer counties.
Hi folks, this is NCTV. I'm your host Lou Sitzer. Thanks for watching. We have today with us folks from the Spirit Center. And this is an organization that has been with us for quite a while. I'd like to introduce everyone to David Lynott, who is a peer counselor. You'll find out that people wear many hats. Guy Kerr, who is on the Building and Housing Committee as well as a peer counselor. Barbara Lindsay-Burns, who is the coordinator, program coordinator and the chairperson of the organization, and Mike Starr, who is a peer counselor as well. So welcome to the program, and if you would, David, explain to us the function of Spirit House, how long it's been, what's its mission?
Spirit Center has been around since about 1997. When it began in a modular out at adjacent to the behavioral health department off of Willow Valley Road, so it was out there in Nevada City, and began as a small organization of, we must have had maybe 7, 8 people starting out, and gradually it grew as the vision of what we wanted the center to be, and that was to be a nonprofit peer counseling agency that helps people with mental health difficulties. They had challenges in their lives that were giving them problems, and they needed some assistance and help to retract themselves, get them back on track in their lives. So as that vision sort of came together, we sort of outgrew the modular. We didn't have very much space in it, and so we had to find a more permanent housing than that, and then we found this building out at Gates Place. One of the founders of the Spirit Center, her aunt owned the building, and she was willing to give us a reduced rate rental cost. And so we negotiated with her and found out that we could afford we sort of said, we can afford this much, and she said okay, and then we moved in, and that was in 2000 and, was that 2004, Guy? 2004, Mike? Yes. Okay. And so that's out at Gates Place. That's our permanent place for right now. I shouldn't say our permanent place. It's our place for where we're at right now. We're hoping that it'll being permanent.
Yeah, I think it's been in the news somewhat that you're negotiating or the purchase of the property.
Yeah, Guy knows all about that. You can talk to Guy about that.
All
So-
right.
Okay. Well, basically, we're just, looking at all potential alternatives for what we can do with it. And again, we're looking for it. We had an excellent option agreement that passed date, so that the price has actually increased at this point to what we need. But what we're trying to do is to develop grants, to develop ways in which we can try to secure that place, or if we need to secure another place at this point. So the center has kind of grown up in and around the center that's there now, and so that it's a very good place. It is there's situation, I don't know if you know of NIMBYism, but not in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But we're at a place where we're distant enough from neighbors so that we can have a better place there, a place separated. Plus, we have a location close to the bus. It's down the hill, but it's right there, as well as to the shopping areas within it. Because what we're trying to do, we developed a plan basically to bring in. There's 5.6 acres of the property, and part of it is to bring in a permanent supportive housing, which for people who have severe mental illness or whatever, they can get a place to stay. Housing is a very difficult thing to find in this county. So it would be being able to utilize part of the facility for a housing development within there. And again, because of the location to shopping and to transportation, public transportation, it's very good. Part of the other sphere of the plan is the respite care, which I've been very active in trying to get started here. And it would be the first such center in the state at this point. It's being utilized in the East Coast and in Europe. And what it is an alternative to hospitalization, so that the impact of the hospitalization on people who go down to the emergency room and are not, 5150, which is the, for people that are in danger of themselves or other gravely disabled. People are basically just turned away from the emergency room if they have a severe problem, but it doesn't, rate as severe enough to deal with, and even some of the ones that might fit within their realms could be there. But it's very critical, because it's just it's enough of a shock for a normal person going through the hospitalization process, and that if you're in a fragile state, it's even more of an impact upon you. So this is trying to have a space so that people can be able to help get back and become more healthy within the community, without being separated from it, without the locked gates, and without a lot of the different things that happen with a normal hospitalization. So we're trying to look at the whole package together, as a possibility. And so that we in terms of a vision for our center, those are very important vision, parts of it, because it's
Right.
just, it's,
Well, when you say, it sounds very impressive, but what I heard David say is that it's peer counseling. And how much, it sounds to me like folks who are interested, get involved in Spirit Center, how much certification, qualifications do people have who volunteer and work there? Is this a certified organization?
Actually, in California, there is no certification for peer counseling. There is in Hawaii and I think 4 other states, but California doesn't have that requirement. However, we have 3 classes that we offer. The first one is our core volunteer training, and that is a 6-week class, and that's primarily to teach people about the center itself, about our emergency procedures, about our forms, about how to welcome somebody coming into the center. So a person going through that class could be the receptionist. And then we have, and it teaches a little bit about when somebody walks through the door, what kinds of things, cues you might see or look for to kind of see how you can be helpful and sensitive to that person.
So this, pardon my saying this, but it sounds like it's a lay organization in the sense that if someone's interested, they get involved, they get educated, but there's no, is there training involved?
There is, well, that's what I was going to say. The second course is our Peer Counselor 101 class, and that's a 12-week class in learning how to do peer counseling and learning how to use, what is it? There's a process that we go through, an empowerment plan, and the empowerment plan is the first place that the person coming in, first they would come in and talk about whatever their issues are, kind of get them out on the table, and then the peer counselor would help them to identify things that are going on with them that might need attention, and then they begin to break it down into steps and processes in how to get to the desired goal.
So is there a point where you're encountering someone who might have a severe or acute mental illness and you might say, well, this is too much for us to handle, they need professional care?
Well, I think you can look at it and say, in the continuum of what this person needs, we are a piece of it, but maybe we're the piece that says, you really need to see a psychiatrist and help them identify where that might be in the community and connect them with services. So, we would refer people, we're not therapists, and therapists refer people to us knowing that we're not therapists, but we're peer counselors.
So, and this is not a small operation. What would you say the demographics are? How many people do you serve in a month? How would you describe your clients?
Well, I'm the one that's done the quarterly report the past year, and per month we probably see anywhere between 325 to 375 people a month, and that is people who come in for groups, one-on-one peer counseling sessions, who just drop by, want to get some literature, that sort of thing. We tend to think that we're growing as an organization. We're starting to see, we're going to be expanding our hours coming up probably in about 6 weeks. We're going to be expanding our hours to stay open from 10 in the morning to I think 6 o'clock at night. And that'll give an opportunity for some people who work and who don't have an opportunity to get to the center from 10 until 2 just because they have to work. So now this will give them an opportunity to get off work, say at 4 o'clock or something, come on over to the center, get a session, maybe a one-on-one session, or at that time we're also going to be expanding to 2 more new groups. And one of them I can't remember exactly the titles of the groups, but there are going to be two additional groups.
And these are support groups.
These are support groups, right?
Which has been around, the support group idea has been around for quite a while and doesn't necessarily need professional leadership, although I would imagine sometimes it's pretty challenging.
We do have a relationship with Behavioral Health in Nevada County, and they have a liaison that we have quarter time, and that person has been coming and being part of our meetings and being available, to give us some ideas for tough situations, to be available to the peer counselors if they need assistance. So we've had that kind of support.
Yeah. Mike, you were going to say something?
Well, the third group, and she didn't talk much about it, is our facilitation group for group facilitators. It's also a 12-week course. So our courses are designed to train people to be professional in every aspect of what we work at. So we try to keep our groups activated and work on any ideas that the clients have that come in there. So, but our peer counseling group, I've talked to drop-in centers and other centers throughout the state, and it's very unique. We do have other people in other counties that want to start receiving our Peer Counseling 101 training manual so they can start their training classes, because it's a very good class. And also we take our trainee counselors and we don't put them in the situations, we train them. We put them with other seasoned peer counselors, and they go through an intense training with the counselors until they feel that they're competent enough to go out on their own. So we just don't put them in that environment.
And about how many volunteers or employees do you have as involved in the Spirit Center?
We have about 25 peer counselors and about 9 that are actively running the center at any one time, throughout the week. And we have, I think, about 16 or 17 new peer counselors in training. And we're waiting for their graduation towards the end of September before we open for the longer hours.
And where would you calculate our county is in terms of mental health, handling mental health issues? People, are we at a point where we're reaching the numbers that need to be reached, or do we need to grow so many more programs?
Well, with the Mental Health Services Act, and it's been a community process that has grown over time. Within it, we're trying to bring out and address the different problems. There's prevention, early intervention. There, is the housing component. There's, there's different areas in which the need is there, and then that's the beauty of the MHSA, is it's being able to direct into those different programs. There's for capital facilities, technology, different things that have been outlined within the bill that really are affecting a change within the whole system. And that's really what the MHSA Mental Health Services Act, which was Proposition 63 on the ballot, that's really what it was aiming at, was transforming the system, and that you can see it being done. And then also I'd just like to add too is that we're not just a drop-in center, we're an empowerment center. People that come in need to work on themselves. They need to connect in with getting better with the group, with people, with others within it. And so that it's a program that helps people deal with the environment and their issues and things within a broader context of not just within the center, but their whole lives within it.
So how many people would you say are drop-in who want to empower themselves versus people being referred to you by the court system or some other organization?
Well, I think we mainly, I think people have told their friends about the center, and we get a lot of people coming up to the center where they've been referred by a friend or whatever. And I think the majority are people who have come from that pool. The referrals from the court system, I would say between referrals from friends or family members or the NAMI organization,
National Alliance for the Mentally Ill.
Thank you. As compared to referrals from the courts, it's probably about a 5-to-1 ratio, probably.
And
We have a very important program called Stomp Out Stigma, where we go out in the community and we go to community organizations, government organizations, and schools, and we talk about mental illness and the stigma behind it, and we bring counselors, peer counselors, and they talk about their stories And we try to get the community to change their views and also get to know Spirit a little bit. We need to market Spirit a bit, so we're putting out a newsletter. I think it's important that a lot of people don't know about us in the community and really do need to get to know that we're there, because we're a very unique organization that nobody else supplies this kind of help in this community, so we're there. I also have counseled a lot of people that don't have mental illness, have heard about us, but have personal problems, and come to us just to help ask for our help with their personal problems. They don't have any physical or mental illness. They just heard about Spirit Center and the help that we can give them. And we try. Sometimes we can't, but we try to help them too.
So you started out with the question of how many people. It was estimated that there are about 7,000 people in Nevada County based on our population. 7,000 people with severe mental illness. Now, behavioral health, I believe, takes care of about 1,000 now. You know, they've kind of gone from 700 and they've kind of fluctuated, but I think right now they're at about 1,000. And, you know, we're dealing with about 300 in a month. And so there's a lot of people that are
that could use some help that aren't getting it.
well, you know, there's probably a small number of people that have private pay or insurance, so they're outside of the public system. They're private, but there is probably a very large unmet need. And what we've been doing, along with other collaborators in the community, in mental health community, is to take a look at the total need. And, you know, when Guy was talking about the respite care, that's a gap that we see where people go to the hospital, they don't meet 5150 criteria, and so then what do they do? So the idea of the respite care was to pick that up and make sure that people receive what they need. A lot of times when people identify, you know, they feel like they have to go to the hospital, but what they need is to stabilize on their food, on their sleep, on their exercise, you know, get stabilized on their medications, and be in a safe place. Well, you can do that at home if you have a really good support system. Yeah, so
it's great. Well, one of the things I want to get to is the fact that not too many people know about Spirit Center, and you are having this great event coming up September 19th called Spiritfest 5. Please tell us about it so that we can help Spirit Center along.
Well, David is the main Spiritfest.
Yeah, I'm the one that was the originator of Spiritfest back 5 years ago, and I think the vision of, and it's grown a little bit, but I think the vision of Spiritfest is, one, it's been to get more awareness to the community that, one, people who have some mental health challenges in their lives can have fun. You can go out and hear some good live music, eat a good meal, mingle with people, and you can be as normal, quote normal, as you know, the rest of society.
But this is meant as an overall fundraiser as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. This is our big fundraiser. This is our big baby where we want to try to get as much money generated as possible to help pay for costs of the center and so forth. Obviously, the Mental Health Services Act has been a big subsidy for us to help with our costs of our center and so forth and so on. But this Spiritfest is really, I look at it as a chance not only to make money for Spirit Center, but to allow people to come together, the community to come together and mingle with people who have mental health challenges, and just have a fun night, a real fun night. And
so what's going on during this evening, starting at 6 o'clock?
6 o'clock is when the doors will open. We're going to be having, Mike can tell you a little bit about the food that's going to be catered from California Organics. We're going to be having some dinner music put on by a mother-daughter, a duet, Sean and Tarney Hausler. Tarney's going to be playing the harp. Sean, her mother, is going to be playing flute and recorder and so forth. Then we're going to be having Chris Early, who's a really professional slide guitarist, and he's going to be playing blues and funk type music. He's going to start at 7:45, I think it is. And then our final headlining act is going to be Sabroso, the Latin, Cuban, Afro band. That's I think it's a 12 to 14 piece band now, and they're going to rock the socks off everybody. It's going to be a really fun time. So it's going to be a good event.
So it's on a Friday evening at the Miners Foundry in Nevada City.
Right.
And where can people get tickets?
Tickets can be purchased at Harmony Books in Nevada City, the Bookseller in downtown Grass Valley on Mill Street, and also Briar Patch Co-op at their new location right across the street from the Nevada County campus of Sierra College. Sierra College, yeah.
Mike, you want to mention anything about the food?
Yes, California Organics has been nice enough to cater our dinner. They promised a wonderful meal. We have several salads, a couple of main entrees. Their food is excellent. I've eaten there before, and
It's organic.
It's all organic, yes,
Right.
all natural, and they will serve us a wonderful dinner. We're also going to have a wine and beer bar in which you can purchase wine, beer, soft drinks, and water. That'll be available too.
And we'll also have Coffee Van Gogh there to do specialty coffees.
And also Confectionarily Mine is the ice cream place that's going to serve ice cream for dessert. So it's
Great.
And there will be dessert too.
And one other thing, the price of the dinner is included in the
Yes.
ticket this year. So if you purchase a ticket, you will have a very fine dinner.
That's good to know. I want to emphasize to our viewing audience that Spirit Center is primarily a volunteer organization. It's, you are really to be commended for taking on a large task dealing with a population that is often ignored and comes up in our society, manifests its own problems in various ways. So the fact that you've carried on so long as volunteers with a very minimal budget, I'm hoping that the community will attend and support the organization.
Thank you. And our services are free.
Yes.
And you say your services are free,
Yes.
meaning that you walk in and you're not handed a bill when you leave.
Right.
correct.
And you walk in, and then we can direct you so you can actually walk in and see somebody.
So you
sometimes
get-
it's a little backed up, but it's like,
You can get rather immediate attention.
yeah. Which with a mental problem, many times you need somebody right there, and we're right there for.
I want to thank you very much, David, Guy, Barbara, and Mike. It's been a pleasure. And I want to thank the viewing audience as well as our volunteer crew, Cassandra Wallstrom, Gail Woodman, Michael Lamarca, Bill Carquest, our engineer. Thanks for watching, and tune in again.